I'll be as quick as possible so that the others can also have some time for questions. I'll have to leave on time because I have a time constraint to catch a plane. But my view is, what would you put into the system? And I would say common sense of everyone, the investors, the states, and every traders. The investors, for example, I think they need common sense. Among other things, you see strange things happening in the system. Third-party funding. You see investment funds getting into the business of investment claims, funding maybe exorbitant or not well-supported claims with the intention of eventually getting a profit once the claim succeeds or not. And you have investors eventually, as Salvador was saying, playing the system, trying to see what they can get from the system. On the state side, I would say also common sense. Common sense, the first question you asked me was, Venezuela negotiated, etc. I think Venezuela probably reached common sense, and they said we're spending money here. The country's sovereign in terms of expropriating or not, regulating or not, but they realized that they had to pay, and Venezuela is a country that is relying a lot on credit these days. So not paying the expropriation was not making any good for the loans they were asking. So the state also needs to come into common sense when it comes to rule of law. Rule of law is important for everyone, for those who are living inside the country, for those who are living, for those from outside the country, but that are making business or living into the country. So rule of law is paramount, and countries are realizing that the lack of rule of law has consequences, expensive consequences outside. And from the standpoint of arbitrators as well, common sense. Common sense because they need to look at the system as a general piece, to look at the rationale of the system, why countries have decided to get into the system, to look at the rationale of the treaties. For example, decisions such as Tokyo to Kilis versus Ukraine, for example, which allowed, I'm a good friend with Dan Price, but I'm very critical of that decision, where you had a local investor, an Ukrainian investor, who assumed a different nationality, eventually initiated an action against Ukraine. That to me is something that jeopardizes the system, and arbitrators, and I think they need to come to their common sense when they look at decisions like that. Of course, arbitrators are hand-tied when it comes to decisions. They can only play with the treaties, etc., etc. But they can look at the, as the French say, the reason of being the state, the reason of being this whole system of international protection, looking at the preambles and the preparatory work of the treaties, and eventually come with a solution that is common sense. Because otherwise, the arbitrators, they're in the business, of course, of getting more arbitration, getting more arbitration cases, an award that is okay for a specific case and jeopardizes the system isn't going to make any good to anyone, not to the arbitrators, not to the investors, not to the states, because we're seeing states from all different parts of the world complaining and eventually taking measures against the system. So in sum, I would say common sense would be what I think makes the system for everyone.
So with that, we've reached the 2 p.m. operative. You have a 10-second summary.